Welcome to Time About the Movies Flashback, and it's February, so that usually means we're in the dumping months where the studios aren't going to put out their best stuff, and this weekend in particular, February 20th, 1987, is a perfect example of a weekend where they're not going to put out their best stuff here. And we only got 2 movies to look at, so we can make this pretty quick. Death Before Dishonor is our first movie, and I'm not even going to show you a trailer or anything. I'm just going to let Roger Ebert tell you about this.
We're going to look at Brian Keith is a tough American colonel who is about to be kidnapped. And as you watch this scene, remember what I call the rule of the suspicious pedestrian. Now, this is the rule that states that in a thriller, whenever the hero's car hits a person clothed in concealing female garments who walks directly in front of the car, that person is not a female and is not dead. I forgot to mention that in order to get on that road in the first place, they had to take a detour. And rule number 2 states, all detours are set up by terrorists.
Honestly, I could just end the review right there, because that's pretty much all you got to say about that. But the premise of this, what the hell was that? The premise of this is that Gunnery Sergeant Burns, played by Fred Dryer, who's then starring on Hunter at the time on NBC, is in charge of the Marine Security Guard detachment at the United States Embassy in the Middle East. When terrorists attack the compound, taking hostages, Burns becomes a one-man Marine Corps in an attempt to rescue the hostages, I cannot talk right now, the hostages, and kill the terrorists. I would redo that again, but it's Death Before Dishonor, for God's sake. This is one of those movies that isn't a canon film, but it's a New World Pictures movie, which they're slightly better than canon films, but canon films are at least fun to watch. This is just pathetic. This is basically just Commando, except let's take out Arnold Schwarzenegger and put the dude from Hunter in there, the former football player too, Fred Dryer. And the clip there is more memorable than anything that I can show you from the movie in general. I mean, this is about as lame of a movie as you can get. And again, kind of like what Roger Ebert said, it's literally a movie where the bad guys are always shooting, but the good guys never have anything on them. And in Commando, it's fun, but in a movie like this, it's boring, and it's not interesting at all. The action's not that impressive overall. It's just a lousy film in general, and really lousy as you can pretty much say for the rest of this weekend in general. So there's really not much more to say about Death Before Dishonor, nor is there really a lot to say about our next movie, which I thought it was Coming Home, a movie by Morgan Stewart, but no, it's Morgan Stewart's Coming Home, starring John Cryer.
Stewart.
Morgan Stewart hasn't lived with his parents for 6 years. But now, his mother's come calling. To take him to a place even more frightening than boarding school. Morgan Stewart's Coming Home.
Hi, Dad. You didn't have to wait up for me.
You will stay on restriction tonight, tomorrow night, and for the rest of your young life.
Is this some kind of joke?
This film seems rather loud and obnoxious, but then again, the first warning sign should have been the fact that the credited director is Alan Smithee, which, for those of you who are too young to know who Alan Smithee is a name often used when directors want to remove their name from the picture, and this has 2 directors behind it, Paul Aaron and Terry Windsor, and they both wanted their name off of this, and that trailer kind of gives you an example of why that is. I mean, man, talk about a bad year for John Cryer, who was coming off of Pretty in Pink, and then he stars in movies like this, and then Superman 4, The Quest for Peace. I mean, talk about a terrible, terrible stretch of films that could have easily killed his career, and yet somehow he found a way to continue going. But he plays Morgan Stewart, who after 7 years in boarding school is finally coming home. He discovers that it's not the same happy home it used to be, so he decides to reform his social climbing, politically inclined parents, and things get a little out of control. Literally sounds like the premise of a show you would have seen on the newly created Fox network at the time. And I love how the tagline is, he was just Ducky and Pretty in Pink. Now he's Crazy Witch, and it's all his parents' fault. So who do we have to blame for this movie existing? I mean, this is a lousy, lousy movie, and again, from the moment you see the name Alan Smithee, it's like abandon all hope, ye who enter here. Really, I got nothing else for you. That's Morgan Stewart's Coming Home, and you know what? We're not even going to go ahead and pause it. We're just going to go ahead and wrap this up here, because there's no reason for me to continue on with this charade. But that's going to wrap this episode of Time About the Movies Flashback up here. Next time around, we have at least some notably better movies. Not by that much, but We have the silly but fun Mannequin. We have the even sillier and even more fun Sylvester Stallone film, Over the Top. We also have, let me get that out of there. Let me see what else we got here in terms of the new releases here, because it's one of these things where they don't highlight the new releases on a President's Day weekend for some reason. Well, we do have at least one movie coming out in wide release, Hannah and Her Sisters, the Woody Allen film that won Diane Wiest and Michael Caine their Academy Awards, so there's that. We have 84 Charing Cross Roads, and we also have, I believe this is Anthony Hopkins and The Good Father. So we have a couple movies of noteworthiness here, but we'll take a look at those movies, and it'll be a much better show than what we had this week, so... With all that said, if you found some enjoyment out of this, hit that like button, subscribe button, and notification button. Also, don't forget to hit check out the playlist for the two videos, playlist here, video here. I'm so confused. This is such a lousy week, and I'm so confused on how I wrap this up. So, with all that said, thanks for watching, and I apologize. I know it will be a better episode next week, so thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Till then, take care. Good night.